Welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook along with Risk Management Commodities Chuck Shelby. And we're seeing mixed trade in both grain and livestock futures here today. Right now, you've got corn and wheat a little bit softer, soybeans to the plus side. Let's start off talking about soybeans, Chuck. That market held the 100-day moving average yesterday, so we got a little technical push here, but we've also seen a little bit of China demand again helping out.
Yeah, that really helps out the markets when we see that demand come to us because it's been suspect and hasn't been there. In the last week, 10 days, we've seen pretty significant purchases from China. Technically, it was good to see the market hold at the 100-day moving average. And as we go forward, ultimately, what is the end of August weather? So far, there's been some pretty significant rains from South Dakota to Ohio. That's going to help that bean crop yield.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about yield there? The average trade guesses, I think, have us down maybe about a bushel, but is that fair at this point?
I think that's reasonable with the conditions we had for the bean crop going into this report. The question becomes, and I think the trade and it will understand and believe going forward with the amount of rain we had, probably the yield will go up in September. So whatever they say on Friday, if it is lower going forward, it's probably going to be increased a bit.
Yeah. So corn is drifting a little bit, but has been kind of caught between lower wheat and higher soybeans this morning in that tug of war. But really, that market is trying to get squared up a bit here before the report as well. What are you expecting?
I think the $5 area is pretty good support after having a pretty big break. We tested some areas below there. But again, the corn crop maybe benefited from some of these recent rains, but probably it's some damage has already been done. USDA again projecting a record yield and a lot in the trade are slightly below the 177 area, but again, coming back around, that's a record yield or close to it. So plenty of corn around. Will they take the yield lower than what the trade's guessing? That would be a surprise to the market, but at this point going forward, trade's going to be looking past this report once we get through it and see what kind of demand we have. It's not been very good in corn.
Yeah, what are you expecting as far as will USDA make many demand revisions in the report on Friday as well?
They've been slow to do that, but it's warranted again. We just can't seem to find any unusual or small businesses come to US. So it wouldn't be shocking. And I think it's anticipated that we'll probably shrink that demand a little bit more. The key going forward is will we pick up demand from the situation with the Ukrainian war intensifying down the road? China's got some real flooding problems, so potentially there's some demand, but it will take time to get here, and it's not going to show up probably till after harvest or down the road in the future.
So everybody's kind of buying hand to mouth right now then.
Yeah, absolutely. And with all the uncertainties going on, I can't blame anybody who's needs to purchase grain or meats. It's just simply so uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. You got a major war going on in the world, so just that's the world we live in, and there is some hope down the road that we will pick up demand, though.
Mm-hmm. So the corn and especially the wheat market, we get these pops on some of these war headlines, but we can't sustain any of the price appreciation there. Is that just a case where the market, we don't have enough demand to help push it, especially the wheat market, or is that just people, traders getting numb to some of these war headlines after or over time?
Well, I think it's probably those that are end users or those that need wheat, and it's a situation that's very fluid, but it just shows that one spark like that certainly kind of causes buyers, traders to come in, step in, and buy it. A lot of farmers have been watching that. They've become pretty good at selling some of those rallies. But I think underlying support is there. It's just we can't sustain an uptrend till things settle down and we have more defined information.
Yeah, no doubt. You are a farmer yourself and you talk to a lot of farmers. I'm going to go back around. We were talking about yield. What are producers telling you out in the country? We've had these rains that have come in here since July, but how much have they really helped with the yield?
Some of the most dry areas have received some pretty significant rains in the last few weeks. I think there's some pollination issues around. The number of rows around on some of the corn is not what it would have been. It was hurt earlier on, but it looks like the rainfall will certainly help fill out the kernels. The kernel depth's going to be there, so that's a big positive. Still a good crop for a lot of guys. There are areas around the country, though, that have not received the rainfall, gone maybe a month to 5 weeks without a significant rain. So they're concerned there. But one of the positive, which has been around most of the summer, is we've had cool temperatures. So certainly it's helped the corn. On the bean side of it, another big plus here as far as we got rain at the right time. Still going to need more. So producers overall are pretty happy with the rains and looking forward to maybe some more to help finish off the crop.
Yeah. So let's move over to livestock. We're seeing some mixed trade this morning, as I mentioned. Hogs lower, cattle back to the plus side, and cattle, it seems like, just about every break continues to get bought.
Yeah, it's kind of like a broken record in the cattle market. We continue to be in a strong uptrend. We still have another good sales period coming up for the end of season holiday. I look for the market to remain strong. I think the question in cattle in the long trend will be as we get into October, November, what kind of demand do we have then? So currently, market has pullbacks, but still working higher. And I do think the demand continues to hold on at least till the end of summer.
Yeah. Any thoughts on cash? Because cash trade last week, the weighted average was the second highest on record. Can we continue to see some appreciation in price this week?
I think, again, that trend continues as we move towards that end of the season holidays. So I do believe cash will remain strong. I think there is demand out there, and that's going to keep this market strong as we move into the last 6 weeks here of the good grill out season.
And hogs are lower this morning. Certainly a lot in the camp that maybe we've put in our seasonal top now. But what about this discount structure that we have? These discounts get bigger in the back months. What does the market do with all that, Chuck?
That's a real interesting market that we don't see very often, but the difference between the August and October hogs is significant. The futures is much discounted to where the cash is. I think as we move forward, those two are get pulled closer together somewhere in between. I think the back end has got too much of a discount based upon, where the front end is. And I think the demand for pork will be there enough to support those prices and bring those back end hogs up some.
All right. Thanks for joining us. That is Chuck Shelby, Risk Management, Commodities and Markets Now.